Legard. This guy here. Who is he? What is his goals? And what compels him to do what he does? Keep watching to find out. By the way, if you're interested in more videos like this, let me know and I'll make some more for you guys. So I just recently started watching Berserk to get a little more nuance in other things that were somewhat or extremely inspired by Berserk. As you probably already know, Fear and Hunger takes a lot of inspiration from Berserk, especially in the world building. One of the main characters that drives the plot forwards in Fear and Hunger is of course Legard. And if you know anything about Fear and Hunger and Berserk, you quickly realize the parallels between the character Legard and Griffith. Before I delve into Legard, I'll quickly go over the biggest inspiration, that of course being Griffith. In Berserk, there's this guy, Griffith. Hello! Say hi to me, Griffith. Hello! Such a good guy. He is a strong leader with a crew full of mercenaries, and he aims to get political power and comes really far with the help of his crew, including a character named Guts. Somewhere in the story, Guts actually leaves Griffith, and Griffith goes somewhat berserk, to say the least. That's some comedy humor. He went on to sex the princess, and because of that he gets jailed and tortured for like a year. And when he finally gets released with the help of Griffith, he gets a chance to become a deity, a god, or rather, a demon. To do this, he needs to sacrifice his whole crew, which he does, of course, because his main goal is to blow up and act like he don't know nobody. So, how does this relate to Legard? Well, he was imprisoned in the dungeon of Fear and Hunger, where you pick a character who in some way has a relation to Legard. He also has a legion of mercenaries who devoted to follow Legard due to his many good traits, including charisma. On one of Legard's adventure, they visited Oldegard. By the way, that is how you pronounce it. I'm Norwegian, I know this shit. It's a O sound, not an A. I get unnecessarily agitated when people pronounce it Oldegard, but whatever. So they visited Oldegard, where they found a relic of sorts called the Cube of the Depths, which in many ways is also similar to the relic Griffith wears, which ends up giving him his powers later on in the series. This little pendant right here, this little fella. Yeah, so after he finds the Cube of the Depths, he gets imprisoned, as I mentioned earlier. He gets imprisoned in the dungeon of Fear and Hunger. And when you pick your main character, and it's your job to meet up with him and either kill him, recruit him, or whatever you want. It's all up to you and your main character's motives. You can probably just give him a high five. In my opinion, the most important character to Legard's story is Darcy, or Dars, whatever you want to say. So Darcy and Legard is basically just Guts and Griffith. Darcy came to the dungeon of Fear and Hunger to rescue him. She was Legard's most devout follower, and of course, she wanted to help him when he was imprisoned. If you go through the dungeon and manage to help and recruit Legard, it tells you that he has lost his memory. You'll also be informed that Legard seems to be drawn to something deeper in the dungeon. And if you decide to go further into the dungeon, you'll end up in the ancient city, also called Mahabure. You have to defeat a few gods or whatever, and if you do so, you'll get to enter the Golden Temple. Here you'll fight this cool little character called Francois, who I was sexually assaulted by on my first playthrough, which was really fucked up to see. Once you get sexually assaulted and then kill Francois out of pure rage, you'll then be presented with the Golden Throne, which Nashra, this little head here, will inform you can turn you into a new god. And if you try to sit on the throne with Legard in your party, he'll tell you that this was all just a ruse, he tricked you, and he never lost his memory. His main goal was to blow up and act like he don't know nobody. He wanted to become a god and purposely got imprisoned at this place because he knew Mahabir was just right under him. Legard then becomes a flipping god, and you'll get to decide if you want to kill him or kneel before him and join his new legion, the Yellow King. So as you can see, there were some small inspirations taken from Berserk, which I think is pretty cool. The one unfortunate thing about Legard though, is that becoming a new god in this world is almost always doomed to fail due to the lack of presence the gods have after a while. Becoming a true god, like the old gods, is what gives true power, which in a way Legard's offspring gets. Yeah, that's right guys, Legard fucked, and with a new god too. Nilvian the new god is the girl's mother and Legard is her dad. So the canon ending for the first Fear and Hunger game is that Legard becomes the Yellow King and the girl becomes the god of Fear and Hunger. The god of Fear and Hunger is an old god, by the way, which is a lot more influencing on the world, and Legard ends up being a lot less influential, of course, due to the fact that he only becomes a new god. But Legard's story doesn't end there. He wants humankind to evolve and come further, and he thinks of himself more like Allmare, it seems. Allmare, of course, is this universe's Jesus Christ, basically. He is also a normal guy who became an old god of sorts, like the god of Fear and Hunger. Legard was fully driven by greed, gluttony, and perhaps envy. He wanted everything, but in the end lost everything. Or so you thought. In Fear and Hunger 2 Termina, you set foot in a place called Prehevil. There was a war where the Bremen Empire was the leading cause of the conflict. There was recently signed a peace treaty in 1942 after conquering the place you just set foot in, also known as Prehevil. In Fear and Hunger 2, the leader of the Bremen Empire, who was elected as the Chancellor in 1936, was of course the infamous Yellow King. And even without much prior involvement in national politics, he was elected due to the turmoil and populist movements in the nation. The Bremen Empire needed someone strong, someone new, and someone with the charisma to influence the people. Yeah guys, Legard literally becomes Hitler. If Fear and Hunger 1 to get inspiration from Griffith for Legard, then Fear and Hunger 2 just replaced Griffith with Hitler. By the way guys, the first Fear and Hunger was in medieval times, so Legard has survived like 1,000 years, apparently. So after becoming Hitler, Legard's power should have been quenched now, right? Nope. You see, the main goal for Legard in Fear and Hunger 2 is to blow up and act like he don't know nobody. You see, Legard has been scheming with some scientists and stuff like that, and plans on creating a god. Surprisingly, Legard will not be the one who gains power once this new god is created. This new god will apparently lead humankind in a new direction, where this god will be able to manipulate communications and information to form a greater worldwide collective consciousness. That was some heavy words. You actually see small examples of this throughout the playthrough of Fear and Hunger 2. Like in the white moldy apartments, where the TV has a report of Karen, where she covers the death of 4 people. Karen, however, has never been to Prehevil before. So if you play as her or have her in your party when you see this TV covering, she'll be just as surprised as you to see this. So this new god is called the Machine God, and in short it's basically just AI, or a type of algorithm taken to the next level. Almost like the Metal Gear Solid 2 ending, you know, if you play that. The one thing that puzzled me a bit is just why Legard wants to do this. But of course, if you think about it, it will all make sense. Legard wanted to influence the people once he first became a new god. He wanted to lead humanity into a new age with him as its leader. This was, however, doomed to fail, as with almost all new gods. Over the last 1,000 years, he must have pondered this and realized himself that he alone cannot make a change for humanity. He indirectly made a difference with his daughter, who became the god of Fear and Hunger, but that was mostly the players doing, not Legard. Once Legard heard about the Logic project, also known as the plan to create the Machine God, he saw an opportunity where he could partake in something bigger than himself to create a new age, a new dawn for humanity. Whether good or bad, he would be a major stepping stone to lead humanity forwards. It's hard to say if his goal is selfish or selfless. It truly seems like he wants to change the world for the better, but his ways of achieving it is a little questionable. Like, come on. When your biggest inspirations are Griffith and Hitler, you're not going to be looked at as the most trustworthy person. Could this mean Legard is truly good deep down? He seems to have been driven by what drives us all primarily. That is, of course, our own interest. He did what rewarded him the most without really thinking about how it would affect others. And in his mind, that was the right thing to do, because his intentions was to better the world. Is that really that bad? That is up to you to decide. In my opinion, I say, fuck yeah, that is really bad. This guy is crazy as fuck. Even if his intentions are good, they fucked up once and now he wants to try again. Like, come on, just give up, old man. I swear. In the next Fair and Hunger game, Legard is going to be inspired by something completely new and fucked up. He's going to be like Christian or something. He's going to try to merge the dimensions of the parallel universes so that we all can see Sonic 2 or whatever. So that's my opinion at least. But yeah, that's basically Legard, a fucked up guy who wants to better the world but does it in the completely wrong way. That's about it. Let me know if you want me to cover another character. Alright, see ya.